So the European World Championship qualifiers just concluded, and I think you can already see where this is going. Rika managed to win it again. This time, it wasn't Marcus Patel who ended up winning, but rather Jessica Robinson. So if you're watching this, Jessica, congratulations, very well deserved to you. And huge shoutouts to Christian Thomas for making it all the way to the second place. I would like to point out that he was supposed to win because he did mess up a little bit in Game 3. Being under pressure when time gets called is definitely a thing, and he 100% would have had it. So in theory, Kashtira was still the winning deck, but Jessica won because of Chris's misstep. But this isn't a subtle comment to just take away anything from them because they both played really well. Now, there are quite a lot of differences between last year's European World Championship qualifiers and this one. Last year, Marcus went undefeated with a deck that absolutely nobody knew even existed. But of course, after the course of a year, people eventually at least know a little bit what the deck does. And the deck also changed quite a lot over time, with people now playing Small World and the Theron monsters in the deck. But the biggest difference was the environment under which Rika had to exist last year. Last year was really brutal because the deck had to coexist with Tearlaments and pretty much full power Sprite minus the Sprint. And shockingly enough, Rika was more than capable of keeping up with both of these decks. Marcus's build was not really playing any hand traps, but rather board breakers and floodgates such as, Triple Tactic Talons, Dark Ruler No More, and Rivalry of Warlords. And Rivalry wiped the floor with everyone back then. But this format, however, Rivalry is not really good against Kashtira because obviously pretty much everything in the main deck are psychic monsters. And again, in a world where nobody knows what your cards really do, people usually don't really hatch up the right thing. This means that you can get away with suboptimal hands because your opponents are not really stopping your choke points. And crazy enough, people are still not fully grasping the whole concept of the deck right now. Given the fact that it's a hybrid deck, it is inherently more difficult to understand. You don't always know what threatens you the most, would it be the Rika cards or the Sun Avalon cards? The answer is quite simple though. The Sun Avalon cards are not really like a standalone deck like the Rika cards are, but rather a gateway that gets you to the Rika cards. But they still spam the board with a lot of plant monsters so that you can go into Jasmine, get a Surge, get a special summon, etc. If anything, I could actually see Jasmine getting limited or banned in the near future. So a hand with only Sun Avalon cards can still get you to your Rika cards no problem. But the opposite is also true. You can still get to your Sun Avalon engine with just Rika cards. With Glamour, you can actually search your Sunseed Genus Loki, which is pretty nice. But the Rika engine is made up with so many 1-ofs and 2-ofs that just make deck building just so weird. It also makes execution much harder, but it doesn't change the most important fact. The Rika field spell, Con, is absolutely unfair. It's a Lair of Darkness that also gets you consistent Rika spells and traps every single turn. You couldn't ask for any better because it inherently plays under Droll because you're not searching anything but rather setting something, and it also allows you to tribute undestructible and untargetable monsters as if they did nothing. So this deck is really well equipped to beat pretty much any deck, and it doesn't really lose to conventional cards. Like, imagine in a format where everybody's still playing bestial monsters and you're just there with only water and earth monsters in your deck. Yeah, you're gonna be getting a lot of free passes. And the deck inherently plays under Goes and Match because the water monsters are the most important ones, which are the Rika monsters. Now, if you're from North America, just like me, you probably don't even care that much about any of this. I mean, let's face it, when's the last time you played against Rika Sun Avalon? Probably never. I know I never had. The only experience that I even have with this deck is when I pick up the cards to read them. And then I lose a lot of brain cells because they're too complicated for me. Hey yo, look, any card with more than 5 words written on it is just way too much for me. But yeah, all of this just to say that Rika did it again, which proves a bunch of my points. First of all, the most popular deck is not necessarily the best deck for you to play. And second, decks can get you a really good return on investment if you choose to play the lesser played decks. Why change decks every format and then spend thousands of dollars a year when you can just play the same deck for a full year? Anyways, that's all I had for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.